and Norris is starting to break away from the guys behind as it's 3 wide between Alonso, Verstappen and Russell. Perez has managed to get ahead of them. Guys, there's so much happening, I can't keep up with everything. So Norris and Perez are starting to break away, but now Russell, Verstappen and myself are battling with Alonso. We go around the outside of Alonso at Curva Grande as Russell has gotten ahead of Verstappen, but we take 3 cars from the exit of turn 1 and through to the second chicane. Guys, Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, welcome back to Turbo Fox Racers and welcome back to F1 23 Career Mode, driving for Aston Martin alongside my hero, Fernando Alonso. Now guys, this episode we're going to jump straight into the hot stuff. We're going to jump straight into the upgrades, and as you guys currently see in the top right, we do not have a lot of resource points. We're a bit poor right now, but we do have a fair amount of upgrades on the way for our Aston Martin. And you guys clearly know that we are the fastest car on track according to the R&D, but when you actually get to the race weekends, you quickly realize, especially between the top 4, which is us, Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull, every time it's someone different. It's really track dependent right now. So the R&D chart says something and the track performance says something else. But as we get into this episode, guys, you guys can see there's still 2 upgrades on the way that that are going to come to the car, to chassis and a power upgrade. But before we get to that, let's look at the R&D charts. You guys can see we at Aston Martin have leaped a bit in front of Red Bull. But guys, now, like the previous episode, I can't believe I already forgot about this. There's now 5 front-running teams, meaning us at Aston Martin, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, and then there's the back marker. So the midfield has been cancelled out that we had in the beginning of the season. Now it's just front-runners and back markers. The back markers are Alpine, Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Alfa Tauri. That was in order. But now we head to a very top-speed friendly track in Monza, and the performance chart looks like that. McLaren are here, Ferrari are here, it's Ferrari's home race. We at Aston look strong, Red Bull looks strong, and even Mercedes looks strong. What is going to happen? No one knows. And after the last time, literally on the line, thanks to a fuel glitch, hashtag spoiler alert, if you haven't checked out the previous episode, go check it out for yourself right now. But the fact that on the previous episode, we literally lost the race on the line thanks to a fuel glitch, and Max Verstappen benefited. I am very, very motivated to have a strong weekend here in Monza. And as you guys can see, as we start qualifying, it is bucketing down. So it's going to be a wet quali session. And we're in literally the backyard of Ferrari. I know Ferrari is going to be strong. They are always strong at this track. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the better of who. Now you guys can see this is the end of my first run in qualifying. And guys, obviously Monza is a very low downforce setup. And obviously because they do, as far as the weather conditions were concerned, the race for the actual race on Sunday was going to be a dry race. So I stuck with my dry weather setup. As you guys see there, just at the final corner, just to make sure the car doesn't oversteer. I go stupidly wide. And literally as I was still running wide, the car was still encountering wheel spin. And long story short, this is the first game like ever for me personally as a pad player where I felt that the difference between a dry and a wet setup, there is actually, it makes like a substantial difference, like, and especially like a substantially more difference than on previous games. Now I know obviously F1 22 I didn't play that much because it was an absolutely horrible game, but like F1 21 and F1 2020, it wasn't this major, this effect. So it was quite interesting to feel this. But as you guys can see, we are going to start our 4th lap now. There's 3 minutes left in qualifying, guys. I just stayed out at the end, trying to keep laps going as the track got a bit drier and drier, trying to keep going faster. And you guys can see currently I'm only 17th, with me having a dry setup, it doesn't seem like the AI have gone for dry setups. It seems like they've gone for a little bit higher downforce wet setups because they are substantially quicker than me, especially the top guys, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Fernando in the other Aston, and Red Bull. They're so much faster than me. And as we come through the final corner on our final lap of qualifying, we're 3.5 tenths up. Everybody is just going faster and faster. And as we come across the line, we've settled in P out of qualifying. It seems we're P out of qualifying. P at Gasly, P4 in the Alpine. But guys, we are dead last. Out of qualifying. For Alonso almost nearly didn't make it, but it's Tsunoda, Zhou, Sargent, De Vries, and myself. I think it's time we take an engine penalty.
A difficult race awaits these drivers here in Monza, but glory awaits too at the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda, Zhou, Sargent, De Vries, and O'Connor. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once more by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about O'Connor. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
So guys, sitting pretty on the grid in our British racing green Aston Martin. Guys, I have taken a full new engine and gearbox for this race. Considering we qualified last, we literally had nothing to lose. And guys, I'm going to do a medium to soft strategy. So the tire wear on Monza really isn't that hard, and you can really pull off the strategy on a pad with Season 1 cars, like, honestly. And as you guys can see, it's a Ferrari front row lockout. And most of the drivers are starting on softs, so they're going to do the soft to medium or soft to hards. And I think our medium runners are either going to do medium to hards or medium to softs, although I think medium to softs is going to be way quicker and more efficient.
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
So guys, we are technically doing a last to first challenge, well, a last to question mark challenge here. We don't know where we're going to end it, but obviously this car's got top 10 pace, so we can take nothing less than a top 10 finish here at Monza. We're starting on the back foot from the back, literally on a medium tires, but there's a lot that can happen. And now it is time to head to 5 red lights, and it's go, go, go in Ferrari's back garden. Great front row start from the pole sitter. As we head towards turn 1, the 2 Ferraris are going to go side by side. Leclerc versus Sainz. Sainz will try around the outside. Norris and the McLaren is in P3. I told you guys McLaren are going to show up. Here we go. Sainz and Leclerc through the first 2 quarters. Leclerc gets the better exit, and right behind them it is still the McLaren of Lando Norris. Then behind them it is the Red Bull, I think, of Max Verstappen. Then my teammate Fernando Alonso and the second Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Only then comes Oscar Piastri and the two Mercedes battling with one of the Alpines as well. So Mercedes clearly did not have the pace that we thought they would. But it's the perfect start for Ferrari. Leclerc leading from Sainz here in Italy. So it's in the backyard of Ferrari, and they are going to want to perform here today. So your top 10 currently from 10th to 1st. Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Piastri, Perez, Alonso, Verstappen, Norris, Sainz and Leclerc. And we fought ourselves all the way up into P11. So let's have a look at our race start. We line up right next to Nick de Vries here on the grid, guys. And you guys can see actually on the mediums, compared to these two soft tire runners, I get a sensational launch off of the line. And just then this Aston Martin's a straight line speed advantage really came into clutch. As you guys could see, as soon as I pressed the overtake button, this Aston was on it. I have a little bit of a moment here with Alex Albon and one of the Hassers. You guys can see literally I've got nowhere to go. I had to take the wide line through T2 and there was just nowhere to go. But now as you go through Curva Grande, they try, the Haas forces Albon to the outside. We move to the outside for the corner. For the chicane, we have a little bit of a pinch with them, but that is us up from P13 to P11. And now we need to chase down this top 10 with the fast runners. Guys, again, look at Pierre Gasly in that Alpine. He is fighting with everything he's got to get that Alpine into the points. He made it to Q3, and obviously because we fell out, we don't know how the conditions changed, what happened in the race. Did it stay on wet weather, like did the drivers stay on full wet tires? Did it get to inters? Did it maybe even get dry? We do not know, but whatever the case may be, Gasly is having a phenomenal Italian Grand Prix weekend so far. And now you guys can see the two Ferraris battling away for the lead as they are side by side here. And now Lando Norris is in on the fight into the first corner. Leclerc is sandwiched between his teammates and Lando Norris. That was a very sketchy moment there as the game actually enabled ghosting for some other reason. I do not know why. It was a little bit of a spoil sport there, but hopefully it does not happen again. And I can actually tell you guys now that you know it didn't happen again. I don't know what happened with the game there, but the video is edited. It's not happening again. We now look at the man that I just spoke about battling with the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton through the final corner. You guys can see a Gasly just keeps that Alpine hanging it around the outside on defense, but the straight line speed of the Merc looks like it's going to be too much. But then Gasly is just like the Alpine is not such a slouch in a straight line. Gasly must be running 0-0 wings, guys, because the Alpine really has a very crappy power unit at this stage. But Hamilton gets up into P9. Once again, apologies for the ghosting. I can assure you guys that it did not happen again. But now the top four are nose to tail. Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Verstappen, and Alonso is very close to Max here. Perez is slowly but surely starting to fall away. Max around the outside of Lando Norris. What a move from the defending world champion, as the two Ferraris are now broken away from the 1 second. And as we will start the next lap, DRS will be enabled, and that is not something that you want to happen. But Norris is trying to get back at Verstappen as Perez is trying to get around the outside of Alonso, and now Russell is joining in this fight with Piastri, Hamilton and Gasly coming from behind. So 4th to 10th, literally nose to tail with one another. As soon as moves start making and drivers start losing time, you've got 2-3 drivers coming from behind. As again, it's 3 wide, but this time between Alonso, Norris, and Verstappen. Perez gets himself in on this little kerfuffle. Hamilton, Piastri, and Gasly just admiring from behind. And even all this squabbling is enabling me to catch up. So we are slowly but surely getting towards this group, and it's exactly what I need being on the mediums. It's another 3 wide moment. Alonso, Verstappen, and Norris. Norris manages to defend his P3, but Alonso, who was at his stage looking at P6, P7, is now in P4 behind the McLaren. It's the two Red Bulls fall to P4 and P5 and P6 with Russell, Piastri, and Hamilton coming from behind. Here we go, guys. This is now a replay of my onboard. As you guys can see, this is now me just coming towards, closing up to the rear of Pierre Gasly. We are much braver on the brakes, heading into the second chicane. Gasly actually just ducks out of the way. I think he realizes that I'm in a much quicker car, and I can just he can use me as a tow to get to stay with this little group. But here, guys can see, at the end of lap 3, Verstappen and Alonso are once again locking horns through the final corner, through Parabolica. Here we go, down the main straight. Alonso is now going to be the one that has DRS, but so will Sergio Perez. It is 3 cars with DRS because Verstappen was close enough to Norris to have DRS. Norris is safe for now, but Perez and Alonso get ahead of Verstappen as he's now under pressure from Russell. But here we go, Alonso is trying to keep this P4, but Perez is being very adamant about his intentions and he wants P4. Alonso manages to defend right now as Verstappen manages to defend from Russell, but Piastri and Hamilton are behind. But we actually get ahead of Piastri and Lewis Hamilton as they are now back in the clutches of Pierre Gasly. Here's the replay, guys. We are side by side with Hamilton heading into the corner, and we just catch Piastri napping. A little bit of a bump and rub there as I was a bit eager on the throttle mid-corner, so I did have a slight bit of contact with Piastri, but it didn't cost me or him something. We now look at the 2 Ferraris who are slowly but surely pulling away as they are just doing this now every lap. It's a DRS to swap for the lead on the main straight, and they are gaining time on the rest of us. A last little replay here of me getting past Hamilton and Piastri. Beautiful run on Hamilton through Curva Grande and then through the chicane. Even though there was a little tap, nothing too bad on Oscar Piastri. And now we chase after Russell and those 2 Red Bulls right ahead. But guys, I am in the mix now. It's going to be battling. And from around about lap 8, the mediums are going to start being advantageous compared to the softs. But here comes Lewis Hamilton heading down to Ascari. Beautiful run there, but Piastri also has DRS and he just uses a little bit more overtake than Hamilton to defend. But Hamilton in the Mercedes just hangs it around the outside. But look right behind. The 2 Alpines are coming from behind. Gasly, well, Ocon has managed to catch up, and him and Gasly are now going to pressure Piastri and Hamilton. Oh my word, Ocon and Gasly are really having a phenomenal race here for Alpine. But now we have to look at the 2 leaders again as Leclerc managed to get past Sainz heading towards Ascari. And now, well, down to turn 1, Sainz takes back the lead from Leclerc. And Norris is starting to break away from the guys behind as it's 3 wide between Alonso, Verstappen and Russell. Perez has managed to get ahead of them. Guys, there's so much happening. I can't keep up with everything. So Norris and Perez are starting to break away. But now Russell, Verstappen and myself are battling with Alonso. We go around the outside of Alonso at Curva Grande as Russell has gotten ahead of Verstappen. But we take 3 cars from the exit of turn 1 and through to the second chicane. And all these guys are so focused on one another, they didn't even suspect me. Look at this guy. Got a beautiful exit coming out of T1. Just blasted my overtake button. As you guys can see, most of my battery is used up. But it's okay because we can actually save battery on this track. We give Russell a bit of an aggressive squeeze there. But that is us now up from P8 all the way to P5. And we now need to chase down Sergio Perez. But we are, guys, it's lap 5. We've gone from P20 to P5. And guys, at this stage, I very quickly realized this car does have race-winning pace. We just need to get our heads down because we can catch these 2 Ferraris. It would be one damn good redemption arc. Oh my word, Sainz is off the track in the gravel trap. Sorry about that, guys. Then we'll get back to that. Sainz is in the gravel trap. He goes for the move on Leclerc, locks up, and just goes straight into the gravel trap and then has to wait for all the cars to come past. But that has triggered the safety car as Sainz was in a very dangerous position on the track there. But this race is being blown wide open now. All the soft tire runners will pit now probably, as the medium tire runners will stay out. But no, some of the soft tire runners are actually staying out on the track. Norris is on mediums like myself, but Alonso's on softs, Gasly's on softs, Hamilton's on softs, Magnussen is on softs. We are in, guys. I know we're on the mediums, but I wanted to strap on a second set of mediums, so I had fresh mediums and then try and push to get more towards the front, and then just go onto the softs later, because obviously this is a free pit stop, and I don't even think the hards will go all the way from here. You probably can push them all the way if you are really good on your tires, but I don't think that is a viable strategy because you're literally going to have no grip at the end, especially in the slow speed traction zones. But here you guys can see behind the safety car, I do not know why Mercedes did not just double stack, as well as Alfa Romeo with Guan Yu Zhou. So Hamilton and Zhou are now even behind Carlos Sainz at the back. And now you guys can see Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas has retired thanks to some sort of issue with his car. But now the grid is completely completely scattered. Norris leads the way on mediums from Alonso, Gasly, Magnussen, Bottas and Tsunoda. Those 6 drivers have not pitted. Leclerc is the leading car that has pit, with Perez behind him, myself P9, Russell P10. Then you've got Verstappen, Ocon, Piastri, Albon, De Vries, Sainz, and Hamilton, who will come from behind, and then Zhou. This grid is so scattered right now. This is literally anybody's race. Any mistakes, any silly stuff can cost you now. It is now going to be who's the smartest and who works the quickest and who has gambled with the right strategy. So let's see what happens here as actually Gasly pits. After all the hard work that Alpine have done and Gasly have done, they are throwing away this race right now. Oh, Alpine, guys. Alpine is strongly in action here. As you guys can see, Alonso sticks behind Norris. But here you guys can see, I'm going for gold. I've already just jumped Perez and Leclerc heading into T1. And I am now the leading car on fresh tires. I'm not going to play around. Sainz is up to P14. Hamilton is still in P17 behind Zhou. Ahead of Zhou. And guys, honestly, here's the replay of my restart. You guys can see most of the guys pitted onto a second set of softs, so they will have to pit again. So basically, everybody in this race will have to pit again. Or they still have to pit or will have to pit again. So I really haven't put myself out of place here. We've literally just gotten a free pit stop with free grip. So now on lap 8, Norris leads the way. Alonso, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda. Myself very closely followed behind by Leclerc, Perez, and Russell. As Russell is trying to go for a move here on Perez, but we go for the inside dive on Yuki Tsunoda. It's a very easy move on these fresh tires. And guys, I want to start slotting cars in between myself and Leclerc so that I can try and build a gap, because he's still on the quicker tire. He's on fresh softs. I'm on fresh mediums. If I can put mobile chicanes in his way, it's gonna make my race a bit easier. So I was on a mission to pass these cars ahead, but Leclerc is already past Tsunoda, and don't forget about Russell and Perez. But here you guys can see I'm already going for the move on Bottas and Magnussen, and this Aston is an absolute beast in a straight line. Without DRS, just using overtake, we managed to pass both Ferrari powered cars. This Aston is an absolute animal in a straight line. Here you guys can see this is how Max Verstappen also included in this battle on fresh tires. And look at this, Perez and Russell go 3 wide with Yuki Tsunoda, leaving Verstappen with nowhere to go. He just has to sit and watch and have the perfect possible braking point. Russell on the inside. Verstappen is literally being held up. There's nothing he can do. And Perez and Russell get past Tsunoda, but now again Max still has to get past Yuki through Curva Grande. He's going around the outside, but that could almost have very much been terrible for Verstappen as Russell, as he tries to move there behind Russell, but there's not enough time or space to get past the young Brit, and that was absolutely sensational there. That was just a very ironic way for it to happen. Leclerc now sitting behind Bottas and Magnussen, as we've already broken away, trying to get close to our teammates so that we can pass them as quickly as possible. But it's an Aston 2-3 right now. It looks very strong for good Aston Martin points today, guys. And guys, honestly, it feels like every time Alonso has had a good opportunity to score big points or a podium, he either has some issue with his car in the race or he retires. So hopefully today marks the start of a change of luck for Fernando Alonso. Leclerc trying to go around the outside of Bottas, as I think Leclerc trying to do the same as I'm doing to him right now with the 2 Red Bulls and Russell. As guys, look at Carlos Sainz. He's already up into P10, trying to chase these guys down from behind. Sainz is adamant on having a good race here, but Leclerc is ahead of Bottas. Perez now making a move on Bottas, as actually Magnussen is defending so aggressively. He's not letting these leading drivers pass, and it is total chaos. Obviously, guys, while I was driving, I had no idea that this was going on behind me, and I only realized at this stage what an absolutely epic race we were having here. Like, oh my great googly moogly. You guys can see now on lap 10, we have caught up to Fernando Alonso. We're within a second, so hopefully Alonso makes it easy on me so I can just have a straightforward DRS pass, not lose either of us much time. because he is also very close to Norris, but we are very close to leading this race and actually currently having a successful last to first challenge instead of just a last to question mark challenge. Heading into Scar, you guys can see I hold back because Alonso actually wants to keep the position, so he's fighting for this position, which I don't understand. There's not really use fighting for this position, but as we head towards Parabolica, you guys can see I'm just like, Fernando, now I need to make you lose time. Unfortunately, we give him a little bit of a pinch around the outside into Parabolica. I know he's going to have DRS, but thanks to me pinching him, he's not going to have enough to pass me again. So now I'm just going to create a tow for Alonso to try and gain back the time that he lost to Leclerc as I pinched him into Parabolica. I'm still a team player. We're still going to try and make this work. But as soon as we get to the corners, I'm going to break away from Fernando because the grip advantage was real. As you guys can see, Leclerc is now also slowly but surely breaking away from Russell, Perez and Verstappen. As Russell and Perez have gotten ahead of Magnussen, Verstappen's still working on it. But I mean, Russell is still trying to battle Perez in this whole little kerfuffle. But now that the race is starting to slowly but surely settle down again after the safety car, it seems like this is going to be a race for the win between Norris, myself, Alonso and Leclerc, and then the rest is going to be Russell, Perez, Verstappen and Hamilton and Sainz fighting with one another. But you guys can see we now come towards the end of lap 11, the start of lap 12. I've saved up some battery again. We open up DRS. It is going to be the move for the lead here on Lando Norris, guys, and McLaren have truly shown up this weekend here in Ferrari's backyard. To T1, little bit of a hop there over the sausage curb on the inside. We go for a beautiful switchback here on Lando Norris. We use our grip advantage, and that is us now officially into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. 12 laps ago, we started in P20. As Alonso has actually pitted, guys. Alonso saw the battle was starting. He's come into the pit lane. He was on the softs. He is now on the mediums to push to the end of the Grand Prix. What is Norris going to do? Is he going on to the hards, or will he go on, or will he stretch distance thanks to the safety car and go onto the softs like myself? I can still go a fair bit, so I don't have to worry about softs being overly worn at the end. I can go a bit deeper and have super fresh and super fast softs at the end. But I lead the way from Norris. Leclerc P3, 3.5 seconds behind Norris. Russell still battling with Perez and Verstappen. But now it's Hamilton battling here with Magnussen. Something has happened to Oscar Piastri, guys. I think Oscar might have had a trouble with his car because he just dropped away from Hamilton and Sainz like so bad. So a little bit of sad news for Oscar Piastri while his teammate is fighting for the win. He's now just battling with the back markers, which is very, very sad. But now the two Red Bulls have locked horns. The two rooi koeie het bietjie horings gesluit hierso for all my Afrikaans viewers, as they are now battling for P4 and P5 and Russell has taken a bit of a back seat. But you guys can see at lap 13, the slipstream is so strong at this track that Norris, even on worn tires, as long as he stayed within DRS, he would close up to me. So having slipstream and DRS here around Monza is critical. Even on worn tires, it can save your hiney, even though you might not think so. So now you guys can see Norris has come into the pit lane. We're still going to extend this stint for a few laps, as a lot of the guys that have pitted now are also going to considering coming in very, very soon. But all the guys pitting now are all the drivers that haven't pitted when the safety car came out. So all the guys, now natural order has been resumed basically, as Alonso, Bottas, Magnussen, Tsunoda and Norris are going to come from behind. But these guys are now going to be on fresh tires in fresh air. So there is still how this race can end is honestly anyone's guess. Ferrari see that Norris, Alonso and Bottas and all those guys have pitted now, and Ferrari react immediately, which is a very smart move from the team at Maranello. Excuse the hop in the replay there, in the recording there, guys. Again, nothing I can do about it. And obviously Leclerc wants to negate the damage that Norris and Alonso are going to do to him. And here you guys can see Leclerc comes out of the pit lane not far behind Fernando Alonso, and he is now also on the fresh mediums. Norris has opted for the hard tires, so clearly the McLaren is harder on its tires than we initially thought. But like honestly, guys, Norris, Alonso and Leclerc are in the driver's seat for battling me for this race win. We now head towards the end of lap 15 as Verstappen, Sainz and Russell dive it into the pit lane. Perez and Hamilton stay out. But I think these guys are going to be just too far behind Norris, Alonso, Leclerc, and eventually myself when I pit. You guys can see Leclerc goes for the move on Alonso. It's an easy DRS move. Again, apologies for the jumpy replay. Oh, replay. I need to stop saying replay and start saying recording. Both starts with R's, with excuse me. But now you guys can see Perez and Hamilton are in. Obviously, with me going double mediums, I can go deeper, and I want to put around about lap 18, 19, so that my softs really have grip all the way to the end. But now you guys can see Pierre Gasly slots into P2, and he's going to fall like a stone when he pits. But Norris, so guys, exclude myself and Gasly. Norris is your race leader with Leclerc coming from behind, Alonso P3. Perez comes out of the pit lane in P4, maybe. Oh, wow, Verstappen really battling his teammate here. This is an awesome battle between the two Red Bulls. But basically, P4 and P5 is Verstappen, Perez. Then P6 will be Russell, and P7 will be Sainz, and P8 will be Hamilton, as myself and Gasly still have to pit. We don't know where we're going to come out. I think I might come out in the realm of my teammate Alonso. I realize these guys are getting an undercut on me, guys, but I will by far have the quickest tire, and I also think I already have the quickest car at the end of this race. So I was very, very relaxed at this stage in the cockpit. Leclerc makes the move at Ascari on Norris, but here you guys can see Norris is still on fresh tires, and even though they're hards, they are now going to have grip till the end of this race. Even though I feel the hards are a terrible tire on this track, like seriously, I always find a way to make the hard compound work. So now Norris and Leclerc are doing exactly what I need them to do. They're battling, so I can just have smooth and consistent pace until I pit. You guys can see it's about 17 seconds from myself to high 16, maybe close to 17-second gap to Leclerc and Norris. And the more these two battle, the more time I can eke these tires out. You guys can see it's lap 90 now. I've extended my stint even more. And now Sainz and Verstappen are battling. Russell and Perez are battling. And I think, you guys can see, Russell is 6.5 seconds behind Alonso. So the battle from P5 to P9 is going to be by itself. And the battle from P1 to P4 is going to be by itself. I think Alonso is in no man's land, to be honest. I think he's going to have a solid P4 finish as soon as my pit stop is done. He doesn't have to worry about battling anyone. He can just stay consistent and drive his own race. You guys can see the end of lap 19 through Parabolica. There's going to be 8 racing laps left after this, and we decide we call it now. We call it box. 15.4 seconds is the gap as we enter the pit lane. So I know I'm going to lose places to at least Leclerc and Norris. Will we stay ahead of Alonso, though? That is the question. But the thing is, Leclerc and Norris are still battling. Lando Norris wants his first Grand Prix victory here in the backyard of Ferrari. Will he be able to do it? You guys can see definitely Norris and Leclerc are ahead of me. And my teammate Alonso will be as well. But I'm going to be out ahead of Russell and Perez by a substantial margin. You guys can see behind Russell and Perez battling like crazy. We are out ahead of these two, and now we are going to be able to push. Sainz, a leader earlier in this race, is battling Verstappen for P7 as Hamilton is trying to get it closer to them so he can insert himself in this battle. Piastri is just trying to score points at this stage. I wonder what went wrong with Piastri's car, guys. If I had more information, I would have told you guys. But guys, by the end of the second third of lap 21, we've already made the move on our teammate Alonso, and I was feeling as if there was super glue strapped to my tires, guys. I had such sensational grip, and like I said, guys, this is where I realized, like, I firmly knew I had the quickest car of everybody in this race. This was my race to lose. We're on the quickest tire in the quickest car. We can't throw this away now. And the more that the Monegasque and the young Brits are battling for the win, the quicker I can get closer to them. Look, it is going to be very last minute, like within the last 3 laps is only where I'm going to catch them. And by then, their medium and hard compound tires will have similar grip to mine. So I think we're going to have a last 3-lap battle for the win between an Aston Martin, a Ferrari, and a McLaren in the backyard of Ferrari. Guys, this is going to be an insane ending. Let's just wait and see what happens. But currently, Norris is fighting so hard with Leclerc here for this win. Here goes Leclerc again. And as you guys can see, as they're battling, every few corners, the time comes down a tenth or two, every corner as I'm closing up to these two with my very much superior grip. And guys, trust me, I am blasting my battery when I can, especially on corner exit as well, because I have such good grip. The more I can take advantage of that, the better. And you guys can see Alonso is already 3.5 seconds behind me. He's sitting pretty. There's 4-second gap to Perez. Even if he loses a second a lap now, he's still going to be reasonably okay. So I'm satisfied with P4 for Fernando. That's going to be a brilliant performance, but I want this win. As again, Norris takes back the lead from Leclerc. And I think the Ferrari fans are sitting with their hands in their hair. They don't know what to do right now. As we go through one of the two Lesmos, and no. Guys, what did I say earlier in the video? Every time Alonso has a good race, he either has car trouble or he DNFs. And on lap 24 out of 27, Alonso pulls to the side of the road and he is out of the Italian Grand Prix. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Guys, if Alonso's bad luck this season has just been taken away, like he didn't have the car issues that he had and he had not as much retirements, the championship, especially constructors, would look so much different right now. Oh my goodness, Aston Martin, figure this car out for season 2. Especially if I'm still here, because the unreliability for Alonso is insane. But guys, as we come towards we go into the final corner for the end of lap 25. 2 laps left to race here at Monza, and we have caught up to Norris and Leclerc. DRS is still enabled. It's Aston Martin versus McLaren versus Ferrari. 2 Mercedes-powered cars and 1 Ferrari-powered car. Norris defends beautifully from myself and Leclerc heading into T1. Leclerc gets shuffled down to P3, and I could feel the boos from the Ferrari fans as this happened. And Leclerc gets a horrible exit coming out of T1. But as soon as me and Lando go side by side, Leclerc will be back in this battle. Soft tires versus medium tires versus hard tires for the win. 3 different constructors, 3 different young, hungry drivers. Let's see what happens. Guys, one thing that I noticed throughout the weekend, through these 2 Lesmos, I don't know why, the AI are insane through those 2 Lesmos. They gap me even when I'm on fresher tires through those 2 Lesmos. I don't know why the AI just have those 2 Lesmos, like they've got it so well sewn up. I don't know, it just baffled me. But heading into Ascari for the penultimate time, we go right around the outside of Lando Norris. But guys, look at the gap. 2/10 Norris, 3/10 Leclerc. This is still going to be a battle for the win on the final lap. Like I said, this is going to be insane. We come around Parabolica for the penultimate time to start the final lap of this Italian Grand Prix in Season 1. Here we go. Norris, Leclerc. I'm now the sitting duck without DRS. As I stick to the inside to defend, I slowly move back to the racing line as I want the optimal line through T1 and T2. Norris and Leclerc still side by side. I think the desperation for Leclerc is now bigger than it was for Norris to get his first win. Here we go. 8/10 heading through Curva Grande. And guys, again, as soon as we get to the Lesmos, these guys are going to absolutely dust me. I don't know how the AI are so quick through the 2 Lesmos. I've got them in every other corner so far this weekend. But the Lesmos, nah, these 2 corners, these 2 right-handers, they're just like, nah, my friend, nah, my friend. Now we're going to chase you down. Half a second. DRH will be enabled now. Leclerc opens the rear wing. Norris is 4/10 behind Leclerc. As we go down the hill, through the tunnel towards Ascari, Leclerc is there. It's too wide. We happen to be late on the brakes, using up the last little bit of grip these soft tires have. Side by side through Ascari. Norris interjects himself again into this battle. The final back straight before we get to Parabolica. Norris goes for the move around the outside. Will Leclerc have one last hurrah? It's a little bit of a twitchiness through the final corner. Leclerc's on the inside, overtaking Gate. Who's going to get at the line? We take the win in Monza!
Oh, superb driving That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Here we are then, a thoroughly deserved win in Italy after another excellent... It's time to present the top drivers with their trophies for today's Grand Prix. And there are a lot of people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Aston Martin on the top step.
Guys, what a final lap. That was the battle of the season. GG's to Leclerc and Norris. They pushed me to my limit like no one has ever done before. Wow, 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 wow. What a battle. Guys, that final corner, you guys could see my softs were done. Literally defending from Norris, I was forced to brake late. And then still, as I flowed... used my momentum into the corner and flowed the car. As I tried to put the power down, the rear just decided, no, I can't. The rear tires just gave up. They couldn't take it anymore. I oversteered, forced Norris a slight bit wide, and Leclerc, the opportunistic young gun that he is, tries to come up the inside. But to come up the inside, he has to break momentum because he's so close to me. And just that little bit of momentum breakage for Leclerc was enough for me to engage my battery, my overtake again, and just stretch it to the line. Less than 3/10 between myself, Leclerc, and Norris at the line. Absolutely insane scenes here at Monza. Definitely, guys, let me know in the comments down below, but this so far has been the race of the season. Drivers' Championship-wise, we extend our gap. It is now starting to look a bit grim for Leclerc, Verstappen, and Hamilton. If something doesn't go horribly wrong for myself, it's going to be very, very, very tough for Leclerc, Verstappen, and Hamilton to catch up. Perez, Sainz, Russell, and Alonso, like we've said in previous episodes, guys, they are already out of this championship. But honestly, guys, Alonso should have been plus minus where Perez is now on points. But his bad luck this season is honestly so bad and so sad. Constructors-wise, we lead the way with 39 points over Ferrari. 290 to 251. Red Bull are just behind Ferrari on 244, with Mercedes and P4 on 202. McLaren, for the constructors, they have obviously woken up way too late, but I think McLaren, guys, look at McLaren in Season 2. Don't throw Norris or Piastri away. Obviously, the last episode at the Dutch Grand Prix, we lost our fastest lap, little streak. We're back on the streak now for Monza. But guys, there's only 5 races left to go. Singapore, Qatar, Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, and Abu Dhabi. Sorry, that's 6 races, not 5. But I mean, for the 10th race of this, you know what, this is 11. 10, 11. I don't even know, guys. But for the post-summer break race, I'm honestly telling you guys, this was absolutely nuts. This was nuts. Last to first challenge completed, but I had to work for this so hard. A very unplanned and a safety car that nobody thought was going to happen, caused by a Ferrari, forces me to pit. And then even more than that, I have to battle myself through traffic, get ahead of Leclerc and Perez, get to the front. Norris is so adamant on getting the win. He sticks with me on old rubber. I have to go long because I pitted for a second set of mediums. Norris, Alonso, and Leclerc undercut me, and I have to battle back from P4. But on the final 2 laps, Leclerc, myself, and Norris gave a 5-star performance without a shadow of a doubt. What a damn Italian Grand Prix. And I mean, even the moment there with Russell where I went onto the grass, I didn't even mention that because there was so much going on. What a race. Guys, if you haven't dropped a like down below on this video yet, what is wrong with you? The action in this race, it was insane. Oh my freaking word, what a race. Guys, while you're down there dropping the like below, if you haven't done it yet, you're doing it now. I know you're going to do it now. While you're down there, check out the links in the description down below. If you want to share this insane video with your friends, tag me in the post or the story on social media that you will find the links to in the description down below. And when you tag me in the post or the story, I'll give you a shout out in a future video. below, as well as on my social medias. And guys, after this insane race, if you have gotten to this point of the video and you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video, live stream or short here on Turbo Fox Races. Welcome to the family. You are now officially a fellow Turbonatic. Guys, it's been insane. I'll see you guys for whatever content comes next. I love you guys. God bless. Let's head to the next one. Cheers!